Hello everyone, welcome to the Chicago Club travel show and entertainment show. I'm Dorothy Pacella and I'm your host for these shows, and we're delighted that you could join us. Did you know the Chicago Club is the largest club in the village with over 700 members? Did you know that we're over 40 years old? Did you know you don't have to be from Chicago to join the Chicago Club, even though I'm from Chicago? And did you know we're the friendly club? We really are. But there's a lot more to the Chicago Club than just travel. I know many of you enjoyed our shows every month, but there's a lot more to us than just travel, a lot more than a pretty face. We're having fun, and we absolutely do monthly events at Clubhouse 5. We have great musical entertainment acts that you would absolutely love. We have every now and then we add a comedian to make you laugh. So we're at Clubhouse 5 every month, the second Thursday at 7 p.m. And we welcome all, even non-members are welcome. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy our complimentary desserts, PRF Cash Bar. But as many of you know, we travel. And the Chicago Club offers monthly day bus trips to all over Southern California. They're wildly popular, and we're quite famous for them. So we enjoy doing our trips. Now that we piqued your interest, we have some coming attractions for all the events that we're going to be doing in Clubhouse 5. I think you're really going to like it. It's going to make you want to sing, it's going to make you want to laugh, and hopefully it will make you want to get on a bus. So sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy the show.
Your travel and event guy. 2022 is winding down, but we still have several great events that I want to show you. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what we have in store for you for 2023.
It was a night, oh what a night, it really was such a night. Oh, the moon was bright, oh how bright it really was such a night. It's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new life for me.
Ken Block, one of the most versatile comic impressionists on the scene today.
This is Roy Orbison for Oscar Mayer Cold Cuts. Only baloney.
for Delta airplane. Lose my luggage, I'm gonna take a fast train.
I'm in love. I can't get up.
Experience it for yourself. Ken Block.
Big girls don't cry. Big girls don't cry. Big girls don't cry. Big girls don't cry. They don't cry. Big girls don't cry. I wonder why. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night. Why did it take so long to see the light? It seemed so wrong, but now it seems so right. What a lady, what a night.
When you feel that take off on, and all your hope is gone, and the world is filled with much confusion, 'cause happiness is just an illusion, and the world around is crumbling down. Darling, darling, come on, baby, reach out for me. Hey, 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 I'm there with the love that will gather you. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Oh, baby, I guess you say what can make me feel this way. Sis, my girl, I'm talking about my girl. I've got so much honey, the bees in the name.
The Rolling Stones performing at your event. They look like the Stones. They sound like the Stones. They swagger like the Stones. But they're Jumping Jack Flash.
Four guys from Jersey. They traveled the world and came back with a whole new set of songs. They've got Broadway hits. They've got classic songs.
In other words,
From Frank Sinatra
be true.
to Frankie Valli to Figaro. Forget about it. The Jersey Tenors.
The bus just got here, and we are ready to take you on another fabulous trip.
Downtown Los Angeles now has another spectacular-looking building. It'll house some 2,000 works of art. A concrete veil covers the building, and the natural light that slips through makes sculptures gleam.
I can think of no museum that has light of this quality.
Over the last half-century, Brode and his wife have amassed what's become one of the world's most valuable collections of contemporary art. It includes Warhols, more than 100 photographs by Cindy Sherman, and paintings by Jasper Johns. It's a collection many major museums coveted.
Located in the Lincoln Heights district of downtown LA, the family-owned San Antonio Winery has called its landmark spot on Lamar Street home since 1917. And the only thing giving their incredible wine a run for its money, their food.
What you see is the very beginning of Common Ground, the heart of community. This is our central exhibit, our core exhibit, which talks about the long history in the United States of Japanese immigration and the high points of the experience of Japanese America and the tragic and sad points of that history as well. Internment itself, the incarceration experience, was an important part of history, a sad part of history that we just have a moral obligation never to forget and then to make sure never happens again.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Chicago Club Travel Show. I'm Dorothy Picella, and I'm your host for today's show. We have a very exciting show, as usual, but today's particularly special. Now those of you that watch us all the time, you know we go to these great destinations for your enjoyment that really aren't too far from the village. So it doesn't take long to get to where we're going. But today is a very special trip. And the reason for that is, we're taking you to outer space. Really? Outer space? Who does that? For the same price of a ticket. Who does that? We're going to Pasadena, and we're going to Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is the division of NASA, and it's a very exciting day. So now what I'd like to do is have Hoffy give us more details about our day.
Okay, today we're going to Jet Propulsion Laboratory. It is the most famous facility that builds robotic spacecraft to explore the solar system. It has gone beyond Neptune, Uranus. As you know, they put the Mars rover, and we're going to do a 2.5-hour tour. It is amazing. It sits at the base of the San Gabriel Mountains in La Cañada Flint Ridge, and I think it's a bucket list experience.
So everybody, get comfortable. Like I said, we're taking you to outer space. Hang on, let's go.
Spanish colonial building where Albert Einstein actually lived upstairs in this building. It's the faculty club. There, look at it, it's beautiful. Renaissance Gothic style. I went to a wedding there, so you'll make a right here, please. And then we're gonna make a left on Madison. And Madison is, I'll tell you where Madison is. Madison is beyond Lake, so we got quite a ways. Sorry about the weather, everybody.
Gorgeous.
Something to be said for a drought. I think that the mascot of Caltech is the beavers, because beavers are industrious and builders. Okay, so there's the faculty club, Athenaeum on the right, Italian Gothic style. And then if you look at the dorms, this is where the students live. They were built in the 1920s, although they've added a lot of modern buildings. I've always wanted to do a tour here, but I haven't been able to figure it out. They have a lot of orange trees on campus, by the way.
Is it
I'm not sure, actually.
the one who's always talking about she knows, like, she's the one that's not sure about the science.
Yeah. Look inside. They built this pretty ugly, look at the beautiful Spanish colonial facades. This was built by Bertram Goodhue, the same guy that did the LA Central Library and also Balboa Park.
Oh, wow.
So they hired a very famous architect. Look at the beautiful Spanish colonial details. Newer buildings in Caltech, and then the older part. Is this bad? Sorry. They have these annoying oak trees in Pasadena,
And they don't cut them.
and they don't trim them.
Oh, right in the middle of the street.
Yeah. So look at this beautiful entrance, which is sort of Art Deco that Bertram Goodhue designed as you enter the campus. And they have the jacaranda trees. It's quite beautiful, isn't it?
It is beautiful.
So this was built in 1921. Sorry about this.
You don't think about trees when you're in a car.
Yeah.
Okay. You must train the heck out of that.
Okay, can we go back to California now? Or do you think it's, if you make a left here and then we'll make a left again? And there's one of the modern buildings to the right up ahead. So Caltech is not just old buildings, it's a combination.
We've got a crane working right now. What?
Look at this little bungalow court on the right, Spanish colonial, that's beautiful.
It's the construction crane.
Oh, thank you, Cindy. Awesome. So here is beautiful Lake Street, and coming up on your left is the old Bullocks. And look at the streamlined, modern pattern. It's now a Macy's. Look at this. It's just so elegantly mid-century. Look at this thing. Look at the portholes. Classic. It's a, I bet you the city of Pasadena has declared it a cultural landmark, because that's typical of 1950s architecture.
Are you going to want to turn here?
No, we're going to turn on Colorado.
Dorothy, what yours did. But it's gorgeous, baby.
Yeah.
Just let it. The color is beautiful. Wow.
Pasadena is also famous for churches. Here's a beautiful Gothic revival church on the left. Look at this beautiful Gothic church from the 1920s.
Just past the president.
Yeah.
Side to that.
Yeah.
Here. On this side too. Holy cow. I bet you the sun's never gonna be good here. Right down. But that's a lot of stained glass windows.
They've really built it up, haven't they? Yeah, and if you could stall here a little bit, you see where those cars are parked? If nobody's pulling out,
yeah,
you can hang out there maybe, or actually in front. Can you see can you see City Hall, everybody?
Oh, wow.
We will pull over a little bit. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
It's one of the most beautiful city halls in California. Built in 1926. They have a lot of weddings here. And I'll have you pull in front where those people are and just stop for a second.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. It's really gorgeous.
And I'm gonna maybe she can do a loop-de-loop, but let's stop here for a second. Look straight through. See the fountains? So this is where they have a lot of weddings. You can rent this for a wedding. My friends got married there. And then if you keep going, they built a beautiful pedestrian promenade. Yeah, and it's kind of like postmodern architecture. Postmodern means you take the old and you give it a new interpretation. And then, do you think you could make a loop? Is that
yes,
crazy?
I'll
okay, we're gonna do an entire circle. because this is the Chicago Club.
Are we going to pay the ticket?
I will.
There's no ticket involved to make this.
This is a huge area. Now I want you guys to see something. As we loop around, you can see this, the Civic Auditorium in that direction, and you can see the library in that direction. That's what they did in the 1920s. They would put the buildings in an axial, vertical line of sight, like Washington, D.C. That's what was popular. Even LA did it. Have you noticed every state capital has a long mall so you can see down? That's what Pasadena wanted to do. And that's called the City Beautiful movement. So check it out, everybody. Oh, you're a good sport. Oh, stop. Can you stop here?
Sure.
Jackie Robinson and his brother, the Robinson family, those the statues to them. They grew up in the Pasadena area. Jackie Robinson, of course, broke the color barrier with the Dodgers. What a wonderful man. What a champion of civil rights. And he was a fantastic ball player. So there's Jackie on the right, his brother on the left. That is Pasadena's tribute. His wife, too, was a great champion. Yeah, is she still living? Wow, that's awesome. So that's a great tribute to the hometown boys in Pasadena, the Robinson brothers. Okay, we'll just go back, just continue the U, and we'll go down. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, we got 15 minutes.
Yeah, so it's perfect.
Okay.
So now we're going to Buca de Beppo. We're going to go down Colorado, and the signs are required to be wall signs. They don't allow billboards. They don't allow signs that block the architecture. Wall signs are integrated into the architecture. Notice, it's a horizontal sign, and you can still see how cool the building is. And that's because they brought in professional urban designers to not ruin it. And it's paid huge dividends.
Look at this beautiful fruit, the cornucopia up there.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, the flowers that,
Yeah, right above the pilasters.
they call those fruit of plenty or cornucopia. I love cornucopia. Especially when they're preserved. I'm sure what these guys are doing up here.
What is that? They have
I don't know.
the Japanese, what are they called? Ginkgo trees. See the ginkgo tree on the right? And then they have the queen palms.
Look at that design.
Look at the detail on here on the right with that's kind of a Renaissance style. And then right next to it, the Pottery Barn is zigzag Art Deco. So once again, anything goes. And looking to your left at the corner, what style would this be on the left at 11 o'clock? That's Spanish colonial, but it's Art Deco right here. Oh, look at this building on the right. This gray and white one, that's beautiful Art Deco. Didn't they do a beautiful job? Look at the alleyways they preserved. Now here's our street with Buca. We might want to make a pass at it. It's up to you.
Yeah, this is the Lacey. Yeah, I do want to go.
So we'll check it out. Art Deco. Look at how the building gets small. It gets less wide. It tapers. That's typical of Art Deco. Beautiful.
I can squeeze through this one. And it went uphill, but it maintained its roof height.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
Yeah.
There's a key in the road.
So I'm going to talk to the manager just.
I'll have to send them photos.
Or is it meat sauce? It's vegetarian.
Okay.
All they have to do is just walk toward the visitors.
Okay, perfect.
Some walking distance.
Okay, thank you. Oh, these guys are all waiting for me here. Sorry about that. This guy's a jokester.
Yeah, he is a jokester.
I tweaked his nose. I don't know if you saw that, but I reached down and grabbed his nose.
That's funny.
Okay, so it's over here, but he says there is a white curve right past the. There is a white curve. Oh, I see it. Okay, all right, I get it. It's right here. So
That's what I'm thinking. It's not even near the edge. No.
I don't know if you can pull in here. Maybe not.
Well, I can pull in here.
And Dorothy? Sorry. So the people that didn't check in, Alan Clark is a no-show. Let me get Linda. She's the attendant. Linda?
Linda! Where's Linda?
I'm here.
Oh, she's the friendly one.
Yes, we're the friendly village.
Okay, so Alan Clark, is he here? It's okay, you can look around. You don't have to guess.
Alan Clark.
I know.
No, Alan Clark gone.
Canceled.
Okay,
Yeah, there were
great.
two that canceled.
Joyce? Is Joyce here?
work at JPL?
Almost 7,000.
Wow.
We're a big place. My husband was one once.
Welcome back.
Are we allowed to take photographs?
Yeah, so let's talk, folks. So we're going to get started in just a minute. Thank you very much.
My dad was a police officer, but he stood 6'4", and everyone thought he was 10 feet tall. So I think I just got that beat, you know. Yelling over him my whole life. So what kind of other activities do y'all get to do as part of the Chicago? Thank you.
Yeah, that. My niece is in north of Dallas.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Oh yes, the chairs roll. They are on wheels. Karen. You've been summoned, Karen. Okay. My friends, go ahead and take a seat. This is actually a special treat. Usually we are not watching a 3D movie today. So hello everyone, welcome to JPL. My name is Nikki. As I said outside, I'm going to be your tour guide, and the tall one in the back is Greg. We will be joined by 2 additional tour guides when we break up into the 2 smaller groups today, but that's not happening just yet. So for now, you just get to know me and Greg. A couple of very important things before we get started. In the unlikely event of an emergency today, please listen to the direction of your tour guides. We know the evacuation part of a much larger organization. Anyone know what that one's called?
NASA.
And NASA stands for?
National Aerospace.
Did Bill have y'all do a quiz on the bus before you got here? Okay, very good, very good. We're actually part of another organization. So we are a NASA center, but we're part of another organization, a university here in Pasadena. Does anyone know what that one is? Caltech, California Institute of Technology. So we actually got our start back in the 1930s. A group of, shall we call them, rocket enthusiasts. We're trying to develop rockets and rocket fuel, but they were doing so in their Pasadena backyards and garages. Their names were Ed Foreman and Jack Parsons. Now, Ed Foreman, he was the machinist. He made the parts. And Jack Parsons made the stuff that went boom. He was the chemist. Now, they did not have much success, as you probably would have guessed, from amateur rocket enthusiasts. And after blowing up their garages and backyards, they came to Caltech. And they asked for some guidance from a man named Dr. Theodore von Karman. Dr. von Karman, incredible scientist at the time, he saw some promise in these enthusiasts. But you can't just let any old Pasadena resident use facilities at Caltech. It does not work that way, even back in the 1930s. So he connected him with one of his most favorite grad students. His name is Frank Molina. And together they formed a crew, the Rocketeers. They started running rocket tests, but only after hours in Caltech laboratories. What do you think happened in those laboratories after hours in those early rocket tests? Explosions, fires, toxic chemicals. They were running an engine test in a stairwell, and it was one of those big square stairwells with the big center part. And so they had this thing on a rope, and it was swinging around. And it released toxic chemicals that rusted every bit of metal in that stairwell. So, yeah, they got a great reputation around campus. People started calling them the Suicide Squad. And Caltech finally came to them and said, "We love what you're doing, but you can't do it anymore here. Get out, leave, go away." And so they sent them to what was at the time a dried riverbed called the Arroyo Seco. Now, when you drove it on the bus today, did you see the big NASA meatball on the side of the building? Yeah. That's about halfway between where we are and where the Arroyo is. So it's on the other side of the laboratory. The whole laboratory is about 170 acres. So it's a big...
Instant after the Big Bang, the universe was so hot that matter and energy were indistinguishable from one another. As space expanded and cooled, simple particles formed. They soon combined into larger particles, and then molecules. massive clouds of hydrogen and helium gas collapsed, igniting into the first stars, forging in their hearts the molecular building blocks of everything in the universe today, including you and me. As more stars formed, they began to cluster into galaxies. And around 4 billion years ago, at the edge of one of these galaxies, a medium-sized star was born. The gas and dust that surrounded it coalesced to form planets and moons. And it is from the surface of one of these planets that humans first looked up at the night sky and wondered, how did it all come to be? What is out there? And are we alone? JPL is on a quest to answer these fundamental questions. We are on a journey to the planets and beyond. Life as we know it, and where we know it.
We only have one example of a planet that has life, and that's here, that's Earth. All life that we know of here on Earth needs one key ingredient, liquid water. So NASA has been using this as our mantra, follow the water.
When it comes to life elsewhere, we are searching for even the simplest of life forms, single-cell microbes.
As we've explored our solar system, we've found that water is not as rare as we first imagined. In fact, we pretty much find it everywhere.
So the next step is to identify places that have not only liquid water, but the elements and energy needed to build and power life. The discovery of even the tiniest of life forms beyond Earth would be profound. It would be an indication that life arises wherever the conditions are right, which means we might live in a biological universe.
Standing by for backshell separation. We are in powered flight. Standing by for sky crane. Sky crane is touchdown confirmed. We're safe on
Almost right away, curiosity discovered smooth, round pebbles, evidence that it was sitting in what was once a flowing stream. A few months later, the rover made an even more exciting discovery in the first sample ever drilled inside of a rock on Mars.
Right away, with our very first sample acquired, we discovered that Mars indeed could have been habitable for life, and life could have thrived in that very place 3.5 billion years ago.
In fact, the water that had flowed through this ancient stream was so pristine that had you been there at the time, you would have been able to drink it. Now we are building an even more capable vehicle. The next rover will be the first mission to Mars, whose main objective is to find evidence of life.
In our solar system, Earth is the only place we know for sure life can exist. So we want to make sure we're studying it and we're taking care of it. And that's part of what we do. Send up these satellites, collect the data. Now, probably the most notable one, if it lets me click on it. There we go. Is the ISS, the International Space Station. And I just want to give you a quick glance as to, hold on. Again, we can land rovers on Mars, but apparently we can't get a touchscreen to load. There's spacecraft here. Not all of us are here in the front, but I'm going to put a school bus up on top of it, so as you walk past, you can see the size difference. Now I'm going to ask Dorothy, are we splitting up in any particular way, or are we just counting and splitting in half? Okay, so we've got 46, so first 23 are going to follow.
This is amazing. I can't believe they let us take pictures. This is the clean room at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, part of NASA.
Okay, so I have to be fast. I'm gonna stand somewhere here in the middle and kind of yell at everybody. Oh, don't worry, you don't have to shush anybody. I'm nice and loud, but thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. Folks, I just want to double check. Over here on this side, you can hear me just fine, yes?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I usually do it like this to see if everybody can hear me. So, okay, welcome to the Spacecraft Assembly Facility. What do y'all think we do in here? Assemble spacecraft. We take all the parts, we put it together, we build the big shiny thing that is our job in this room. Now here at JPL, we do not build every part and piece for the spacecraft. Our machine shops will manufacture about 30% of the parts we use on the spacecraft. I want to remind you that NASA is the U.S. space program, and there are 10 NASA centers and 50 states. That means that when NASA is building something, they want to spread the work out evenly. So that means companies and organizations that are in other states as well. So we will ask other companies to bid on certain parts, and then they have to build them to our specifications at our price range. If they can do that, they are saving us time and money. The two most expensive things we have are time and labor, so we like to save y'all a little bit of money as the taxpayers and be as efficient as possible, okay? Now that means that those parts are coming from different places, and that also means that they're arriving at different times. So one of the key parts of this room is scheduling. You're thinking to me, Nikki, they're putting spacecraft together. Scheduling? Yes, absolutely. When we're getting parts from other places, we have to integrate them together, both electrically and mechanically. It takes a lot of scheduling. So that's one of the biggest jobs here at JPL associated with this particular room, is scheduling, assembling, and testing here in this very facility. Now this room is called High Bay Number 1. It is one of several clean rooms here on lab, but it is one of the largest clean rooms. And we can get it down to a class 10,000 clean room. What does that mean? So per cubic foot of air, that means there's no more than 10,000 dust or particulates. You all seemed impressed, but most people think 10,000 is a lot. So let's compare the room we're standing in right now, this gallery with very, very nice, fresh, clean air, about 1 million particles per cubic foot of air. Downtown Los Angeles during the summertime, close to 3 million particles per cubic foot of air. The air in this room is impeccably clean. If you know someone who has asthma or allergies and is looking for a job, this is a great place for them to work.
Sign me up. I'll bring my own tent.
Now, you can probably guess this is a clean room, so I'm going to ask all of you, as people who contribute to NASA, why would you want NASA to build our spacecraft in a clean room?
Bring bugs somewhere else.
So I heard bugs, dust, contamination.
We don't want them taking anything out of space. It's bad. Or taking it poisonous.
Yeah, we don't want to take, not just poisonous or dangerous, we don't want to take anything with us, right? If you send a rover to Mars, you turn it on, you think you found life, and it turns out to be my air. That's really bad science. We also know from studying ecosystems here on Earth, right? Living organisms interact with each other. Do we know how Earth life, even bacteria and microbes, is going to interact in an alien environment? No. We have no idea. And we don't want to test it out by accidentally taking some with us. Not good science. Now, someone else in the room said, we also don't want to bring stuff back with us. There's actually a whole division here at NASA called planetary protection. They have two jobs. Anything that comes back to Earth has to be safe, cannot damage the Earth. And anything we send to space cannot radically change the places that we're going or studying. You watched in that film that we ended Cassini's mission because we found that beautiful icy moon with the geysers, with the organics. Yeah. And Cassini was never scrubbed of bacteria.
Oh. Is that why they had to?
And it was running out of fuel.
That's why they had to spam it.
And that was part of the design initially. We like to do that with spacecraft. We don't like to leave, fuelless spacecraft just drifting as it wishes. We don't like to do that. So that was part of the design, but it was even more critical as we ran out of fuel to make sure that we use that last bit of fuel to destroy the spacecraft and not risk contaminating a place like Enceladus. So that's where this room comes into effect, right? Cassini was built in the 1990s. It was clean, but it was not clean by today's standards. Those initial rocket tests in the 1930s in the Arroyo Seco with the cigarettes and the dirt, not clean to today's standards. We've come a long way, my friends.
Does that mean they don't have to clean the inside of these windows?
Does that mean they don't have to clean the inside of these windows? Absolutely not. So every item is going to emit some amount of particles in our everyday life. And although we choose particles, or we choose items to come into this room that are not going to emit particles, people still have to come into the room. What do y'all think is the dirtiest thing we let into the clean room downstairs? People. We got to put our hands on the spacecraft to build it. But like we said before, bacteria, microbes, someone said COVID. This existed like this long before COVID. Just so we're clear. It's been like this for a long, long time. And the reason is because we are the dirtiest component that comes into the room. So you'll notice there's several people working in the room. One of them's kind of standing very still on the job. Doesn't seem like he's doing very much.
Is that guy real?
Is that guy real? His name is High Bay Bob. He's actually a mannequin.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Sue Finley.
Not Sue Finley. She's working hard. That is High Bay Bob. Sue Finley is not in the room downstairs. Somebody was saying that was Sue Finley. I said, no, Sue Finley's working very hard.
Don't tell her we said that.
I will not. I will not. But High Bay Bob is here because I bring tour groups here all throughout the day. And as real humans, the people who work in this room, they have to, like take breaks, eat lunch, go home at the end of the day. So they're not always in here when I give a tour. So we have High Bay Bob, the mannequin. You will notice they're wearing what we call a bunny suit, because it's a big fluffy white suit without the ears and the cotton tail. And the only thing really exposed is right around their eyes. But you'll also notice that most people that work in the room wear glasses. Or if they're getting up close to spacecraft and they don't wear glasses, they'll put on some goggles. So that's how we protect the spacecraft. Someone asked, what are we concerned about? What specifically? What kind of bacteria? Everything. We're concerned about everything. You cannot get something 100% clean. It's not going to happen. There is a specific type of bacteria that has only been found in NASA clean rooms.
Oh wow. Really? Interesting. What is it?
Oh, I don't.
It is, yes. Yes. Yes, what is the scale? And then actually this right here is the spare part too. So that's part of the actual piece.
So folks, I know we've got some people in the restroom. We are going to spend some time here looking at this model that Amanda just talked to you about. This is a full-size model of that first U.S. satellite that launched into space and the upper stages of the rocket. That's the flight spare for Explorer 1 there in the back. And then there's a great slideshow here. But we're actually going to spend some time wandering around the museum. There is another group in there. That's fine. We have it reserved for us. So please feel free to look around. It goes in order of our solar system, and it starts with the sun here, works its way through each of the planets. There's full-size models of the first three. Real one, they don't have just like most robots do not. And then the museum goes in order of our solar system. The sun, works its way through each planet, the full-size model of Galileo, and of the first three rovers that went to Mars, so German, the small ones, and then Spirit on I can take pictures. I'm very good at that.
Mercury.
I haven't looked on the site, but this shows you the unique.
Oh, she's so good.
And I wonder if we could figure out a way to send to NASA, which is needs
Some sort of evaluation. I'm going to ask. That's a really good question. She deserves it because she's efficient, humorous, super knowledgeable.
And she keeps it.
You're right.
1/10 scale.
So again, Explorer 1 is exactly what we're checking the upper stages of the rocket. Museum goes over the solar system.
This is not the Explorer. Oh, that's when I saw it.
Life-size models.
So that's the right last move, it's the right move for us to go to. The water, the surface, it's kind of frozen surface. That's why it's deformed. So if you get massive gravity and fraction, it deforms. So actually on this lot, there's cracks, big cracks all around the place. And in those cracks were geysers. So we got a lot of
Yes, these are actual size. The first one is Sojourner. She was a technology demonstration. We can drive something on the surface of Mars. Yes, we can. But as you can probably guess from her size, not so great at off-roading. So they built 90 days. They were geologists. Spirit lasted 6 years. She broke her front wheel. There is no AAA on Mars. So we decided to drive her backwards and drag it like a little scooter shovel. And she actually got ice right on the surface. Wow. Opportunity really lasted 15 years on Mars. It was a global dust storm over to Mars for several months. The dust was so thick you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And by the time it finally cleared, she'd been too cold. Mars is actually particularly cold, much colder than Earth. And so we don't know if she had a clock fault, a computer fault, but any of those things could have happened because
Which planet?
Chicago Club, you're moving on. So again, folks at the Chicago Club, stay here with me. The antenna itself, no.
Infrared. Do you see yourself?
So continue at the velocity.
So that's 10,000 miles an hour through space.
That was one thing, and they'll be lucky.
They came home. Where the hell are the aliens coming from? They're here. I mean, they're definitely
The aliens are here. They're not people
So this, yeah, because the atmosphere on Mars is so thin, our air should only slow down. Come on. So that, I don't know specifically which rover does not, but I don't know how to find it.
They're not in outer space. They're on Earth.
Nice. Okay. Yes, so you know that looks like this. Yeah. The rover has either been safely or in pieces on the surface of Mars for 7 minutes. That first signal, it's entered the atmosphere. We know 7 minutes ago it either landed or it didn't. And then we have to wait those 7 minutes.
Our hair
So
is
this gives you
cool.
an idea of what
We're still going about 1,000 miles an hour. So at that point, we use a parachute.
The parachute is the largest and strongest supersonic parachute that we've ever built to date. It has to be able to withstand 65,000 pounds of force.
This big, huge parachute that we've got, it will only slow us down to about 200 miles an hour. We've got to cut it off and then come down in rockets. First thing we do is make this really radical diversion.
Diverting away from the parachute, killing our horizontal velocity and our vertical velocity, getting the rover moving straight up and down so it can look at the surface with its radar and see where we're going to land, and straight down to the bottom of the crater, right beside a 6-kilometer high mountain. 20 meters above the surface. We have to lower the rover below us on a tether and then gently deposit it on its wings.
That's incredible.
At the same stage, it's in a collision course with the rover. We must cut the bridle immediately and fly to the same stage to a safe distance from the rover.
The size of that helicopter has 2 propellers and a panel of solar panels on top. The other thing that Perseverance is doing on Mars, other than collecting samples and looking for past signs of life, is preparing her human astronauts to go to Mars. She has a device on board called MOXIE, which can convert the carbon dioxide in the air into breathable oxygen. Wow. Now, the last thing you see in front of you is this rocket off to the left. This is called the Mars Ascent Vehicle. The Mars Sample Return mission is going to use a series of helicopters to pick up the samples and deposit them at this Mars Ascent Vehicle. This is the actual scale of what the rocket is going to be that's going to launch off of the surface of Mars and launch the samples back into Mars orbit. An orbiter will then intercept them and collect those samples. I'm sure you have a lot of questions about this, but we have a very limited time in this space. So I'm going to ask you to hold those questions till we get to our next spot. I'm going to ask you to stay where you are. This art piece is called the Pulse, and it was developed by our in-house art department. It represents that network of communication we're going to see next. So again, you'll see the name of the spacecraft that we're currently communicating with going up the middle. You'll see lights going up, meaning we're sending information to that spacecraft. You'll see lights coming down, meaning we are receiving information from that spacecraft. The more lights, the more data that is being transmitted. The pattern is an artistic pattern. Here at JPL, we don't just dare mighty things. Program, we want to show you, and a lot of that is data visualization. Art is an important part of telling the story, from getting funding and proposals approved, to animations and videos that you've watched, to data visualizations like this one you see here. We've got one last stop. I'm going to answer more questions when we get up there. We are going to head up.
One of them.
John's one of them. We need to start.
Yeah, they named Johnson.
Of course.
Oh, President Johnson.
What? Yes. Alrighty, folks. So we're going to go ahead and get started in here. I got a couple things I want to tell you, and then I'm just going to let you fire questions. Okay. So, mission control. This is where we send and receive signals to our spacecraft. We do it using something called the Deep Space Network. Anything at the moon or beyond communicates through the Deep Space Network if they want 24/7 communication. It is the only thing that exists that can provide it. Here's why it is so hard to maintain communication with anything in deep space. If I took my cell phone out right now and I wanted to send you a text message, would I have to aim my phone right at your cell phone for this to work?
No.
No, I would definitely not have to do that. Because the signal that comes out of your phone comes out in every direction. It's omnidirectional. That's because it's going short distances. But if you're going far, 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 far away, I'm going to ask you to turn.
That's our show for today. We hope you enjoyed it. But better yet, we'd rather see you in person. We hope you can join us at Clubhouse 5. And better yet, we would love to have you become a member. Check our website for all the details of the great shows, the great trips. And when you realize that membership only costs $30 for the entire year, it is the best deal in the village. $30 gets you into all the events. And then it gets you a discount on our day trips. Who does that? We do. Take care. Bye-bye. See you next time.